Morning, it's Monday again, another week. While we wait the arrival of the Chuckle Cousins and the Fiat Punto, I'm going to do a bit more to this with some bits I've got at the weekend. So let me show you where I am. Monday morning, and I've realised in the other video I didn't actually show you with everything bolted back in. So there's everything bolted back in for now, apart from the clocks obviously. We've just now got to decide what to do with this, but I want to get in the back of the truck today and get the compressors and all that wired up so we can give them a test. And they're in. The wiring is a little bit all over the place, and we've got a rough earth at the minute for the compressors till I find a decent earth, probably on the bulkhead there. But just as a test, let's have a go and see if we can get pressure in the system and lift it up and down. The new compressors got up to 150 psi quite quick while the until the switch kicked in and turned them off. So let's see if we go up. Here we go. The compressor won't kick in at the minute because I've got it switched off. I've just held the power on. Oh, door shut. So we're at 60 psi at the front ish, and we're at 60 psi at the rear, and we've definitely gone up. So let's slam it now. Hang on. Right, so let's slam it. There you go. I think that's pretty much all the air out the bags. So at least we're working. Obviously takes a bit of time, but it is manual valves. We haven't got digital airlift controllers in as yet, but at least we've got a working air setup, so that's good. The old panel, the first panel I made with the climate control boxes in, like I said, it was a bit wonky. It wasn't quite right. And then when I went to connect it up in the dashboard, I found the heated seat switches. So I need room for those. So I've redesigned it. I've dropped that down. This is upside down, by the way. So I've dropped the clock lower. I'm going to use this gap for the alternator light for the second battery when that turns up. So I don't know how big it is, so I haven't made a hole yet. I've moved the two USB sockets outwards to the edges and then made room for 6 switches. That one's a bit closer because that's the voltmeter. So it's a bit closer to that. That one is a bit further away because it's the big central locking switch, so it'll end up closer to that. So it should look fairly uniform when it's done. So this was last night before I went home and just drilled it out. So now I'm going to get the old air grinder out or air saw out and cut these out. So I'll show you once I've done it. Version 2. It is piston device, sorry. So yeah, so now we've got 6 switches along the top. So now I can drill out the bolt holes and round the corners off. So that's the next job. So it's the next day now. A problem I've been having, obviously, as you know, I've put a Discovery 2 loom in. And one thing that's not working, I've noticed, is the interior illumination, as in the dials and the switches. They're not illuminating. Backfeeding it. So putting 12 volts to the illumination circuit from the illumination wire on the back of the head unit, everything lights up. So there's obviously either a break somewhere or something's not connected, or you know, something like that. Now part of me's thinking, because I've got all the other dials, the air ride dials to go in and illuminate, I'm going to need to put a relay in to wire to power all them. So really I could just put a power in and backfeed it and job done. I haven't got to do any searching. But my worry is if there's a broken wire and there is a live wire somewhere that could end up touching something or shorting out, you know, best case blow a fuse, worst case set fire to it. So I've got the wiring diagrams out with a little help from my friends because I don't really understand them, although I didn't. I kind of do now. I found on the internet at discovery2.co.uk the wiring diagrams and the electrical library. So let me show you what we found. So opening up the document, and then pressing Control F, you can actually search the PDF. Now, everyone probably knows this, but I didn't. I thought if it was a picture, it wouldn't pick up text, but it does. So, I searched for interior illumination, and on this 126 page document, there we go, interior illumination. Right, so if we zoom in a bit, it comes from the battery, out to the fuse box compartment in the engine bay, from there onto the lighting switch. Now the lighting switch obviously will be on the stalks, on the Discovery stalks. So you go in the other document, that one, the electrical library, right? Oh, I can do split view as well, look. No, that doesn't work. Hang on. Right, so it goes into these numbers either side are the connectors and the pins. So connector 0041-3, so 3 is the pin, and it comes out of the same connector, pin 4, right? So if we go into the electrical library, Command F, and we want C0041, no, not 412, 41, and there you go. It finds connector C0041 and it tells you which it is. So it's the left hand plug on the back of the stalks. So I can check for live from the battery to there. If I've got live to there and a signal going out when the lights go on, we know that the switch is okay. So next, once we've checked that, we follow pin 4 out of the light switch and it goes off to fuse 11 and fuse 33 on the interior fuse box. Now I've checked both these fuses and they're both got continuities, they've not blown. Then from there, fuse 33 goes out on a red and orange wire to a header. A header is like a junction box, I've been told, so multiple connections can be made within one block. Not necessarily all together, but in separate circuits in some occasions. So then that goes out and it links to, you can see it goes off there to the glove box switch with that line, and it also goes off to another connector, CO759. So anyway, so you can follow the wiring diagram like that. So first of all, I want to check in and out of the switch. Then I want to check in and out of the fuse box. So obviously there we've got CO583. So if we go to here and search I've forgotten what it was now, 583, C0583, we get the plugs on the back of the fuse box. So C0583 is that one. Now there is 10 searches of that. So 582, so it'll be the next one. There are CO583 is that plug, and it tells you what pin it is, what colour the wire is, and don't know what that is. But it means that you can easily look and check each one. So I'm now going to go and do continuity tests on those different connections and see where we're at. Right, so we got the stalks off. So pin 3, looking at the diagram, which I've now taken off the screen, is that one there. So pin 3, which should be 12 volts into the switch. No, 11.8, with the batteries obviously needs a bit of a charge up because I'm in testing, so I need to do it. Right, so now if I put it in the output, so that's the output, put the side lights on. As you can see, just about, you can see the side lights on the door. So side lights are on. Test the out. There you go, we've got 12 volts out pretty much. So we know the stalks are working and we know connections here are working. So we've got to go further along the line now. Right, so next is the back of the fuse box. Now this is where it gets fun. As you can see, it says the middle connector above the relays is 0583. So which is fine. But when you look at the back of the fuse box, I don't know if you'll be able to see it because it's quite dark. There's the relays. There's the one it's saying is 583, but it's actually labelled 582. So is the diagram wrong? Or is the fuse box wrong? I suppose I better have a look at the colours and see what they say. Joy. Okay, so it says 583 is that one nearest to relays, as I've said, even though it's labelled differently on the fuse box. But that is the pin diagram. So what the connector, sorry, the push pin that secures it is sort of in between pin 1 and 2. So I've got another fuse box out to make it a bit easier to see. And the ones, there you go, oh, I'm zoomed in a bit too much. As you can see, if you can, this connector, which is labelled 582, the securing pin is in the centre and above the second pin, whereas this one is offset and therefore there's only 7 pins and not that one in the middle. And this one says 583. So it's the diagram that's labelled wrong. So it's actually showing 583 as 582 and 582 as 583. So we need to get to typically we need the one at the other end. So I've got to get to this one somehow. Hang on. Right, so I've got that in from the light switch, and with the lights off we have no volts. With the side lights on we have, you know, getting on for 12 volts. So we know it's going in the fuse box. So now let's try and find the outside from the fuse box. And according to this, it will be 590 pin 4 and 587 pin 3. So let's find those. Right, so connector 590 is the one on the front of the fuse box, which is this top one. Oh, this top one, the third pin. I've checked that. Yes, that comes on. So what's the other one? Let's have a look. Right, so the next one is pin 3 on this one, which was 587. Pin 3 is red and black. It's this one here, and red and black is there, pin 3. There is a couple of loose wires still because I've not tidied all this up, so I know I've got everything working. So I've checked that, and again, that's got 12 volts when the lights come on. So it's from there, wherever that goes. So let's have a look at the diagram and see what happens now. Okay, so from that wire on the back of the fuse box and that connector, the red and black one, it goes off, well, both of them actually. The red and orange and the red and black all go off to different places. They go off to headers. So like I said before, they're like multiple joins. So they're either all joined together or separate circuits within one block. This one happens to go from there. It goes off to another header, round, and joins various switches. So you've got automatic transmission light, you've got air conditioning switch, socket accessory switch, blower switches, etc. So it goes off from there, also goes over to all the other switches. So I reckon it must be one of the headers behind the clocks. It's not going in or out. Oh, sorry, it's probably going in but not coming out. So I've either got to find that, or I cut that red and black wire at the back of the fuse box, and then join a normal wire out to a relay, and then supply everything including the extra gauges I've got, which is an option because obviously the extra gauges I've got on the dash all need illumination, and I don't know how strong that circuit will be, so it might be worth just doing that. But I am going to have a quick look for the header just in case. I think it's going to be the ones that are originally behind the clocks on a disco, so I should have them behind there somewhere. So right, I'll have a look and I'll report back. So again, searching it on this PDF file, 0759 is a header that is normally behind the clocks on a Disco 2, and it is a white header plug, as you can see, pointed on the arrow. So I'm going to have a little look and see if I can find that. Right, so I've moved on from that for now, because when I take the dash out, I'll see if I can find that header to see if I can get to it. But I've wrapped them all up in Tessa tape, so trying to get to them with the dash in's a bit awkward. So I've left that for now. But what I wanted to do is get the BCU and this end of the wiring loom in and secure. Now at the minute I have just stuck it down to the bottom of the dashboard there, with a bit of trim tape. I do want to bolt it down and make a bracket for it, but it's just so I can try and get it in the place I want to put it and get the wires there. Now the wires will probably reach, but they're quite tightly bundled in this Tessa tape, and not as free as they could be. So obviously I've done this just to keep them all tidy while I sorted the dash out. So what I'll probably do now is pull the Tessa tape off sort of up to here, see if I can get them in a position to where I want them, and then tape them back up in that position. And then hopefully that can live there. and that means I've still got a big patch to use the dashboard for if I want to. Maybe put a pocket in, or I don't know, something else. Maybe just leave it blank, who knows. Right, I'm going to pull this tester tape off and see where we're at. Right, I've unpicked the loom enough to get the connectors all in properly and in that sitting position. So I think obviously we can get some switches on this one if we want to, because that can all be pushed back. The only issue I've got to be careful of is my heater vent. Hopefully Matthew is printing me one up, so it'll be a matter of getting that on before making anything for this to make sure that it'll fit. Also, I need to obviously test the tape all the pipes up and secure them to the bulkhead sufficiently enough so the dash can come in and out without interfering. So I think that's that. This is just going to have a panel over the top. We've got extra wires here. We've got a glove box light, which obviously we aren't going to have a glove box, so we might wire that up to under here, so a lot of footwell lighting. And also we've got the 12-volt socket. Again, we're not using that because we've got these, but we can make use of the power supply for something. We've also got the under seat looms there for when I've got heated seats and stuff eventually, so I'm just going to curl them up and cable tie them up behind the dashboard. Eventually they'll need to come down, you can't see, but down behind the center console. There'll be something here, I don't know what's going to be here yet, but it'll come down under there into the seats. We've got a handbrake light. That's another thing I've got to look at, the handbrake warning switch. So I've got to move that back over that way again. That needs to come down that side. But we're getting there. So I think what I'll do now is I will leave this as it is until we get the heat event, and then I think I'll pull the air back out and make up a wiring loom for the lighting. And there we go. There's the gauges illuminated. Bizarrely, this one hasn't even got the function to illuminate, but I suppose as long as I can see what the bags are doing and what my booster's doing, that'll be all right. It's obviously a really old gauge. I got it off eBay, so maybe in the future I'll look for a one with illumination. But yes, afraid the lights don't, the switches don't illuminate, but never mind, that is what it is. They have got connections on the back, but I'm sure the seller told me it wasn't illumination, so I'm gonna just double check that. I think it was like an electricity switch, so it knows when you press them one way, it also links that little connection together so it can do something else. I'm sure that's what he said. So right, so that's them done. Next job. Another thing I've been checking out is the climate control. Now obviously I don't have air conditioning, so I don't technically have climate control, but I'm hoping the original Disco 2 panel will control my fan and my heater vents as such. Obviously we don't have individual vents, but the Defender box does have a moving diverter, so I was hoping to get this to work. Now with everything switched on and it plugged in, changing the position of the vents on the controller does move all these stepper motors, so that's all working. The only thing I have found a problem with is the fan. Now over there you can see the fan is plugged into the fan, but there's another plug off of the dash loom that's missing. So I've obviously cut that out, not realising. I have got another dash loom on the floor over there, so potentially I could modify that to match this, but with the fan resistors and everything, connector and loom and blah blah blah. So I think that will have to wait till the dash comes out and I'll have another look at it. Obviously everything can be plugged back in and checked once the dash is out, and if need be I can sort that other loom out. So that's that. The other thing I found I'm missing is the heated screen plug. Now I've got the heated screen connectors, oh I'm too zoomed in, I've got the heated screen connectors out there ready for the screen, but for some reason I've removed it from the loom. I don't know why, because I know I was going to keep that, so that's very strange. But again, that is on that other loom as well, so it's not the end of the world. I can always yeah, as I say, once the dash is out, try and match that other loom up and see what's missing and what's not. So right, I think I think now I need to tidy this back up so it's not sitting here hanging over the next couple of days, because I've got to get back on the Punto tomorrow. Sorry, the Panda tomorrow. So I think I'll put this back in, and I'll just put a couple of bolts in the dash just so it's not hanging, and then leave it there. I've got to modify this panel still. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I've got to modify this panel still and put the hazard light switch, heated screen switch, heated rear screen switch in there. And also, what else have I got to do? I've still got to do the wiper motor, so I might do that actually now while this is all still out. Yes, let's look at that. And we've done the wiper, so we've got intermittent, there we go, we got slow, and we got fast. Now the battery's a bit low, so they're a little bit slower than they should be normally, but yeah, all working. Excellent. Right, well, that's a sign off from me. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe and share. There'll probably be another video very shortly on the Panda. So I'll see you in the next video with whatever we have coming along. Cheers guys, ta-ra.